Hey, what is up, guys? It's me, Cole, here, and I'm just going to go over my Week 17 picks, and I'm going to just pick who is going to win in the Wild Card Weekend and who is not going to win in the Wild Card Weekend. And you're going to find out here. You can get it here, folks. So the results, I picked Detroit and Green Bay at Detroit, and I was correct, as Aaron Rodgers and the rest of the Packers team just laid down after the first quarter. Houston and Indianapolis, I picked Houston, but that was wrong of me, because Houston they fell down and didn't get back up, kind of like Houston and Indianapolis just stepped on Houston and was like, bye-bye, Houston, at least we'll end the season on a good note. Minnesota against Chicago. I picked Minnesota, and I was right. Although I wanted Minnesota to lose, so the Panthers can get a first-round bye. They did not lose, as Chicago fired John Fox, and they're probably going to be looking for another coach in the next 24 hours. New York and New England. I picked New England because New England's always a safe bet to go with every single week. And New York Jets never win in Foxborough, even if zombies roamed the earth, New York Jets would still lose to New England. And Bill Belichick worked his magic, and they won. Washington, the New York Giants. I picked Washington, and I thought I was pretty good, but the 2-13 Giants managed to win, and Eli Manning might have played his last game at MetLife Stadium, and he can end his Giants career if he ends his Giants career on a good note. Dallas and Philadelphia. I picked Philadelphia, but Dallas won by 6-0, and I never knew that Nick Foles was the worst thing to come to Philadelphia since Mark Sanchez. Cleveland and Pittsburgh. I picked Pittsburgh because Cleveland never wins in Pittsburgh, and I was almost wrong because a drop almost made Cleveland win and would have made me the worst picker in the history of the NFL. Carolina at Atlanta. I picked Atlanta even though the Panthers were my favorite team, and I was right since Cam Newton was as bad as molten cheese on the side of the road, as he threw 3 interceptions and only 1 touchdown, and he looked like really pathetic. Kansas City at Denver. Now, even though Kansas City was starting its second-string quarterback, Patrick Mahomes, he still managed to squeak out a 3-point win, as Denver has no quarterback, and they probably will have no quarterback. Jacksonville at Tennessee. I picked Jacksonville, and I was wrong because Tennessee had a lot of motivation to get to the playoffs, and they used Smash Mouth football and defeated Jacksonville by 5, and they're in the playoffs. San Fran at Los Angeles. Now, I did not know that Los Angeles was going to lay down, but I guess I was wrong, and Jimmy Garoppolo is going to be the next San Francisco starting quarterback in a long line since 2000. Buffalo at Miami. I picked Buffalo, and I was right. Because Miami, they're going from here to here to here to here to here to here. And I picked Buffalo, and Buffalo won, and the Ravens lost, which I will get to later. And the Ravens choked, and now Buffalo's in the playoffs for the first time in 17 years. Dang, man. Oakland at Los Angeles. I picked Los Angeles Chargers, and I was right because Oakland soon fired their coach after one of the worst performances by Oakland this year, and they lost the Chargers by 20 points, and that's Arizona at Seattle. No, I never, ever thought that Arizona would win in Seattle, where fans can get so high that they can split your eardrums, but no, I picked Seattle, and they lost. And since Carolina lost, they couldn't go in the playoffs anyway. And that pretty much ends their season, and it's just disappointing for them. New Orleans at Tampa Bay. I picked New Orleans because Tampa Bay has a lot of troubles. But Tampa Bay managed to get one game on their record that was actually pretty good, and they beat New Orleans. And now, if only the Panthers won against the Falcons, the Panthers would have won the NFC South, and we would have played the Saints at home instead of on the road. I'm just mad right now. Cincinnati at Baltimore. I picked Baltimore, and I was wrong. And Cincinnati won on a last-second 4th down and 12 conversion into a touchdown, and the Bills made the playoffs while the Ravens have to sit and cry. I'm sorry, Baltimore Ravens fans, don't get triggered at me. But it's just kind of sad how the Ravens don't make the playoffs and the Bills do out of a wild circumstance. And now for this week, since it was week 17, there were a lot of teams that laid down or just performed bad in the waiting seconds or the waiting minutes. And I was 8 out of 16 games, 50%. That's pretty bad for me. I wanted to do better, but you can't undo the things that you do, so I just have to settle with that F on my picking report card. And now I'm going to pick all the wild card games, and I'm going to tell you who's going to win. Anyway, so Atlanta at the Los Angeles Rams. Now I'm going to pick the Rams in this one because Atlanta, they just don't have the firepower in the offense like last year. Because last year they could zing, 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 and Matt Ryan could just zing it to Julio Jones. They can wear you out, and then they can use the run game, and it worked all season. But they just don't have that this week or in this season, and I just think that LA is just gonna beat Atlanta on their home field, and Atlanta's gonna go home. Carolina at New Orleans. Now this is kind of a tough one since the Panthers, they do know how the Saints run their offense, and I'm actually gonna go bold and pick the Panthers in this one because for one thing they can study the Saints and I'm hoping that Cam Newton doesn't play like he did last week. And if he does, well, then we're done. But I'm still picking the Panthers in this one. Tennessee at Kansas City. This one's kind of tough, but I'm going to pick Kansas City by 3 because 1, they are at home. 2, they play better at home. And 3, Tennessee hasn't been in the playoffs for a long time. And I just think that since Kansas City has a lot more experience in the playoffs, I think Kansas City is gonna win, and they're gonna move on. Buffalo at Jacksonville. Now this was a magical season for the Bills, but I think it stops here because Jacksonville has a good defense, and although Blake Bortles can be streaky sometimes, I think Blake Bortles is gonna have a good day, and I think that Jacksonville will beat the Bills, and the Bills will be going home. And that is all my picks and results from the picks from Week 17. I hope you guys enjoyed and have fun. Keep dreaming out there and don't be as bad as I was this week on my picks.